Feel my hair back.
¿Qué pasa, primate? Soy ShaneTheSkeptic y como siempre, muchas gracias por ver mi contenido. Esta noche, realmente yo quiero ver videos sobre this topic that I keep hearing about. I keep hearing about something called passport bros, and I want to figure out what it is, learn about it, talk about, first of all, again, what it is, what the ethics of it are, and also like whether or not I'm one of them because I don't know. But I think it's kind of like so far what I'm thinking is it is I think in a sense similar to the term incel, where first incel was like, and not that it isn't anymore, but like, okay, so there were people who call themselves incels, right? And what this is, if anybody's watching that doesn't know, an incel, it is derived from the word involuntarily celibate, right? Which in and of itself isn't something anybody should be like morally judged or condemned for. I mean, just the fact that you don't get laid doesn't make you a bad person, right? Um, Especially people who are opposed to like slut shaming. Like, you shouldn't be judging people for being too sexually active. If that's something that you believe, then it doesn't make sense to say, "Oh yeah, but it's okay to judge somebody for not being sexually active." But I don't think, but that's not what incels aren't just people who aren't getting laid. They're also very hostile toward women because of it, and they have very, and not just women, but really people who are sexually active. But obviously, like mostly women. So it's mostly this like group of ultimately misogynist people who are genuinely, really sexist, like genuinely just hate women. Um, and so that is, and I'm going to talk about why what this has to do with the passport bro thing. But I think that then, so people started hearing incel, and people started using incel as an insult, which kind of makes sense because it's ultimately saying you're like one of those people. You're like a member of that community. Because let's remember, initially we're talking about people calling themselves this, right? So now it's most of the time you hear it, most of the time you hear the word incel, it's being used as a pejorative against people who aren't identifying themselves with that label. So people who are identifying themselves with that label, I think deserve all the judgment that they're getting for it. Really, they do. I'm just gonna say they deserve it straight up. Um, but I think that incel has really turned into a way of really just shaming people for not for either not being in a relationship or not being sexually active. And I don't think people deserve to be shamed for their sex lives unless their sex lives involve rape or fulfillment of pedophilic desires. I mean, other than that, like if you're doing something consensual with another adult, I don't think that somebody should be standing in the way of it. Or if you want to drill a hole in a pineapple, I can't say I've ever stuck my dick in a pineapple before, if I'm being real. But if that's your thing, then do it. I don't know how I ended up here. Sorry, back on track. People are like, no wonder you like pineapple pizza. No, so let me see. Christopher, he said, a lot of times they will hate any man a woman is with and call him an asshole or a Chad. Oh, he's talking about the incels here. A lot of times they'll hate any man a woman is with and call him an asshole or a Chad for no reason other than the Chad is with the girl they want to be with. It says it describes a set of behaviors. Let me hold on. It describes a set of behaviors, not just those who claim to be incels. Okay, so I would agree with that. It's okay. So it's like a set of behaviors. Um, Namely, though, like the main thing about the incels is they're hostile toward women. They're hostile toward people who are sexually active, and they're misogynistic. Like those are their things, right? And the funny thing about the incels is they're always trying to tell you what women like and don't like. But at the same time, isn't not knowing what women like half their personality? You know what I mean? So anyway, yeah, no, but I think it's really been turned into just a way of not that it's only this, I guess it's kind of both. It's also turned into a way of shaming people for not being sexually active. Or for not getting laid. And I don't agree with that either. So basically, I think the passport bro thing, and I'm about to watch some videos from people who are supporting it and against it, and I'm just gonna kind of like make my unbiased as objective as I could be, not unbiased entirely because I'm a human being, but my objective, I guess, judgment of what both of these sides are kind of saying. Um, but I think the passport bros thing is ultimately you have people who are going to other countries and um I don't know if this is a community in the sense that it's a group of people who do this. So actually I could start googling shit right now and doing my screen share. Cuz let's figure out what this is, cuz this is a new damn thing for me. Let's see. I'm gonna Google passport bro. Okay, I see an Urban Dictionary thing, so I'm gonna go on screen share and then I'm gonna pull that up. And let's see, share screen. Now we're going Urban Dictionary. You might go, why did I pick that? There isn't an official definition. Obviously, if there was an official definition, I'd have picked that over Urban Dictionary. If it was like, Stanford Encyclopedia or Oxford or Urban Dictionary, you wouldn't have seen me pick Urban Dictionary here. Okay, so let's get that in straight. Okay, passport bros, men who understand that Western women have drunk the Kool-Aid past the point. Man, this is the thing about these Urban Dictionary definitions. Sometimes they're like helpful, and then sometimes they're just fuck it. Okay, let me read the whole thing. Men who understand that Western women have drunk the Kool-Aid past the point of no return and got their passports to enjoy happiness and peace with fit, friendly foreign women. Okay, so that's just obviously I'm sorry, bro. But it's just the verbiage. Men who understand that women, Western women have drunk the Kool-Aid. Oh man, it's not like it's possible I don't even disagree entirely with whatever's meant. It's just that it's such a silly, biased way of wording it. I'm just trying to. Okay, hold on. I had to laugh at that. That's funny. That was unintended comedy on today's show. Okay, and then what does it say under here? And the Lord said, God bless the passport bros, for they have avoided thy wickedest American women. They have avoided thy wickedest American women and achieved nirvana with a feminine foreign women, restoring the natural balance between feminine and masculine and breeding out, leaving the dust by wicked Western she-men. Okay. Okay. So this is clearly written by somebody who, wow. Okay. I'm looking for the words to describe. I'm trying to describe a definition, and a definition is a description here. Okay, that's some microphone trouble. I had some microphone trouble. You guys should be able to hear me again. Okay, so it's the whole. Okay, restoring the natural balance between feminine and masculine. So I'm gonna try to find an objective way to define what this person who's be. We can see what side this person is on by the way they defined this. Okay, restoring the natural balance between feminine and masculine, breeding out, leaving in dust by wicked Western she-men. Okay. and then saying she-men. So obviously, this is a person who's opposed to women embodying masculine traits, and says restoring the natural balance between feminine and masculine. Okay. Um, this sounds like a person with probably a religious background, like Abrahamic, saying that we should have gender roles. Yeah, roles, I guess, that are compatible with their historic religious beliefs, the way things have been done in their culture for eons. That's what that sounds like, I guess. Okay, I like this because you could tell this is like it's also biased, but biased from the other side. So this is what I wanted to do with the video, and it's what we're doing with these definitions. We're getting people who are obviously biased and obviously on different sides. Okay. Men whose only means of attracting women is through financial exploitation. Okay, that I think so this I think right here, this first line I think is going to highlight the moral criticism or ethical criticism of whatever the fuck a passport bro is. And again, still I don't know if people are calling them themselves this or if it's being used as a pejorative or it's a thing people came up with or you know what I mean or if it's like the incel history. But let's go. Let's go. Okay, financial exploitation. This is the only tool they have. This is the only tool in their kit, so they fly to overexploited nations where women have less financial standing and show off $20 here or there to get women's attention. Unironically, they don't like gold diggers in places like the United States, but they're fine giving their money away to women who will do anything for their coins because they need to buy food to feed their families. It's basically international prostitution with less oversight. Okay, I do feel like that gains a lot of insight and on what's being referred to here. And what I'm going to say is whether or not this is an accurate definition of what of a passport, bro. This is a real thing here. What this definition here is describing is a real thing that exists. There are men who recognize that in third world countries where people have less financial opportunities, the way they worded it, they're flashing $20 because to us $20 is so much more to than it is to somebody in a third world country. There are places in the world where rent is like $30. They're not living luxuriously, but their rent is about 30 US dollars, right? Um, so seeing somebody so yeah, so basically somebody who's like doing okay here um is going to be be richer in another part of the world comparatively speaking to the population when they're there, right? Okay, so that's a real thing. I guess I might want to read like one or two more definitions of the passport bro thing and then start watching some videos. But um okay, Trent can't get women in his country. He says their standards are too high. So he became one of those passport bros and flew to Brazil. Okay. Can't all right. So I feel like this I think is a separate like this is supposed to use this definition as an example, but I feel like this is a different thing. If somebody's or no, not that there's incompatibility, but like if somebody's I don't know, standards being too high so they go somewhere else. I guess that is kind of similar, isn't it? All right. Um, a movement. Okay, so movement. Popularized by Loki Rara and Sezi the God, where young Black Americans see. But I've seen this said about. I don't think it's exclusive to Black people. I think I've seen people call. I've seen people at least get called passport bros that are white. Matter of fact, I was picturing white American dudes at first. I don't know. I mean, not that I thought it was exclusively them, but when I was trying to come up with what's I don't know. Okay. Uh they travel around Europe and Asia in search of more opportunities with success, languages, food, and of course women. Damn, I want to be a part of the passport bros. All they do is travel and meet beautiful women all day. Okay. Um so I'm gonna watch some YouTube videos now because as I mentioned to you guys, I'm still figuring out what I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. And for anybody that tuned in late that wasn't here at the beginning, what I'm trying to figure out is what is a passport, bro? Is it an unethical thing? And like, am I like morally against it or whatever? Like, is it wrong? And am I one of them? Those are the three questions of the night. I really hope we don't come to the conclusion that that these people are pieces of shit and that I'm one of them. I hope we're not doing both of those. Those can both be true though. Like, so I just got to brace for the fact that could be true. So just in case I'm a piece of shit and we figure it out tonight, let's just enjoy some coffee in the name of not realizing it yet. Fuck. All right. So I'm gonna go to YouTube. Okay, so you know what? I'm actually gonna give a little bit of background on something going on with me a little bit lately because of the fact that it's relevant. So somebody might go like, "Why are you thinking this about yourself?" So I didn't meet anybody that I'm romantically interested with. I didn't have any hookups when I went to Guatemala. Pero por 2 meses pasado, for the past 2 months, I've been talking with this girl that I met who lives in Colombia. But I didn't like meet her through some like Colombian hookup website or something like that. I ordered tacos in Spanish, and everybody at the truck was really impressed with my Spanish. So we started talking in Spanish. And this girl's sister had been learning English for 3 months. So we video called and we added each other on Instagram. And yeah, we've been talking every day since then. So ahora tengo un amor en mi vida que vive en Colombia. Entonces es bien para mí. Pero now I'm wondering, yeah, basically, I don't know. So I'm that's why I mentioned, am I one of them? But yeah, anyway, so we're gonna get into. I gotta go. Okay, let me just share my screen. Share. Go to Chrome tab on this bitch. Okay. Let me see. So we got. All right. Passport. Oh. All right. See what comes up here. Okay. Passport Bros member speaks out. Okay, member. Okay, so I think it is a group of people that calls themselves that. Okay. Okay, I've seen this channel, Passport Bros Exposed, and this is the people, yeah, exposed, obviously, that are against it. And then I don't know. Should I watch the Fox one? That's 15 minutes. Maybe I should start. Okay. I think I'm gonna start with this one that I haven't seen.
Hey y'all.
Passport Bros Exposed. All right, so this is from somebody that's saying, that this is a bad movement. Ahora, chaparrita, ¿cómo estás? That's the girl I was talking about, actually. So, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Where do I start with you guys? I'm gonna tell you how I really feel. I feel like us as a community, we have absolutely failed. We have failed on levels so high that we are becoming the laughing stock of the entire fucking world. So I want you guys to give yourself a round of fucking applause for pretty much failing yourselves, failing each other, and failing to have a very mature dialogue with one another. See, this is bigger than a lot of you guys' ego. This is bigger than a lot of you people's disrespect. And I'm speaking amongst Black people in general. I'm not speaking to nobody but y'all, okay? the more
Okay, so I gotta pause and feel like, am I supposed to say like, okay, not my conversation? Like, is that a like leave this conversation thing because she's not talking to me? I don't know. That's how I feel. I mean, because I don't understand. I don't think that this movement is exclusively. Uh, I don't know, man. This channel was a bunch of, I thought, reasonable criticism so far of. All right, let's see what this one
Bro,
is.
look, I used to be a dog ass nigga. Like straight up, I used to be a dog ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even taking care of myself, wasn't working. You know, in the streets, all type of shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm 39 years old now. And I can attest to this. I can tell you truthfully. One thing, once I started going to the gym and I started working on my mind and my body, disciplining myself, a whole different level of woman started to be attracted to me and approach me. Once I started working on my finances, getting my credit together, working on my career, things like that, prioritizing my life, a whole different level of woman started talking to me and became attracted to me. Once I worked on my mental and stopped being bitter, angry, not holding myself accountable, you know, all of the things that men do as well as women, but we're talking about men right now. Once I fixed the problems that I had in me that I didn't even want to admit that I had, that I didn't even know I had. Once I worked on me, bro, I promise you, a whole different level of woman opened up to me. The ghetto ratchet, the loud, the not cooking, the not cleaning, they disappeared. And a whole new level of woman opened up before my eyes. I promise you, bro, it's real.
Okay. So the not I'm so confused right now. Man, I should have watched the videos that I was going to put on first. Okay. So that he said let's just keep listening. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that.
I promise you, it's real. Work on you. I ain't saying you bad. I ain't saying you not well loved. I don't know you personally. But your mental, you got to change the way you think. Change the way you speak too. About women, I promise you, you're going to see something different, bro. But don't take my word for it. Put it to the test. Give it like 90 days. Holla at me.
Wow, okay. Okay, so he said, so contrasted two different types of women, one which he referred to as ratchets, and the other he was saying women who
You read
cook and clean. And I'm gonna make it clear here, like there's nothing I feel like there's nothing wrong with people taking on and embracing like traditional gender roles, but I'm opposed to them being like an obligatory thing. And also, this is the thing about cooking. Cooking shouldn't be a gender role. Cooking is just a thing that you do to keep yourself to get food. Like really, hold on. Let me just pause here. Cooking is just what you do to make food ready to eat. So that shouldn't have anything to do with gender. The fact that we've put gender on that is crazy. It's crazy. But I think it's the whole like the traditional expectation of a woman cooking for a man, and then like men have just taken that for granted and then come to expect that and then come to think that they are like intrinsically deserving of somebody cooking for them, and that has motivated women to not want to cook for them anymore. Like I think that's kind of a thing that's going on culturally, but like I don't know. I really want to find the two videos from this channel that I saw. Okay. Let's see. I'm on. I didn't put my screen back up. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. I think I saw this guy already. So let's see what he's talking about. Okay, so some people are talking about the passport bro movement as though it's exclusive to black people, and I don't want to just like include myself and other white people in something that if we're not. But I really think that what's being described, the behavior, like I don't think it's something that has anything to do with skin color. I strongly believe that this passport bro thing. I really think we could replace the word black with American here. I understand we could say that, we could say there's cultural differences between black Americans and white Americans to an extent, but they're still both Americans. So I don't know. I really feel like we're talking about Americans here, personally. I don't know. Let's watch this commentary.
So done with seeing all these people supposed to be down for the cause, except, down for the cause, but let's call each other the N-word. Down for the cause, but let's call women B-word automatically. How the fuck is that down for the cause? Protect black women, except when they say something I don't like. This is that cognitive dissonance paralysis analysis. As long as you can find someone else to blame, you're in the clear, right? Bullshit. Let's Jerry Springer Maury Povich this shit. Hey, black men, you are the problem. No, you're not the problem with white supremacy, racism, or how our communities are treating our bank loans or redlining or the attitudes of right wingers. But you are the problem with what's keeping us from keeping our community together. Because the young woman is right. It is the dusty behavior of black men that are causing the problems with our relationships. Here's an example none of y'all even think about. Do you remember when the Roe v. Wade protesters started coming up on here using Keep Your Head Up by Tupac? And y'all were pointing out that that is a anthem to black women. Now, I'm not disputing is Keep Your Head Up's cultural significance in our community. What I am disputing is, so now Tupac was the arbiter for the protection of black women. Okay, so let's go listen to the rest of his music. Let's put that song aside and listen to what he called black women in all the other songs. Or the fact that his religion was, we are all thugs. And how the fuck do you think thugs treat black women? Not just him. What about Biggie, who was a drug dealer and a pimp? Oh, we have quite a few rappers now turned actors and reality stars who were pimps. Do you know what a pimp is? A pimp is essentially a rapist, a child molester, and an exploiter of mostly our women. That's dusty fucking behavior. We dehumanize our women at every turn and we're wondering why they're pissed off. All they want is money. That's your claim, right? Okay, but when they make their own money, they're just trying to be men. Well, which the fuck is it? You can't have it.
Okay, hold on. I think he has some here. And I this is where I'm saying, and like I don't want to like detract from like, people's opportunity to talk about their community and with respect to the black community. But some of the things that he's talking about here aren't exclusive to the black community, and that's why it's relevant. And now I'm still confused. Is a passport bro by definition black? Because I don't know. Still, I think to some people, yes. But then, okay, what was his last part that he said? I think he was talking some wisdom. I'm not agreeing with every point that he's making here, but I'm agreeing with a lot of the sentiment of it.
All they want is money. That's your claim, right? Okay, but when they make their own money, they're just trying to be men. Well,
that part, okay, you know what? That part, that was fire. That was like word of the night. Complaining about them wanting to make, I don't know, saying that all they want is money, but then if they make their own money, saying they want to be men. Yep, that is some annoying common behavior amongst men in America. And that is not exclusive to black men. That is crusty behavior that a lot of people do. A lot of people do. So I wanted to say that part I'm with him on 100%. Can't emphasize that enough.
Which the fuck is it? You can't have it both ways.
Yep.
Real men
can't have it both ways. Yep.
Own up to their own behavior. None of us are perfect, and we all got shit we gotta correct. But you can't correct shit by, I know you are, but what am I? That's a fucking Pee Wee Herman movie. If we are going to correct the problems within our community, so we can fight the enemies of our community, we have to look in the mirror and stop blaming other people. So black men, correct yourselves and get the fuck up off of black women's backs.
Yeah, nope. Like I said, I mean, a lot of that video, I think if you just replace the word black with the word American, I agree with a lot of what he's talking about. I think it would especially just be racist if I was saying, like, yeah, I think this is a bunch of negative shit that's exclusive to, you know what I mean, another race. So, okay, there was that. Then there was a video that a woman made. Okay, this one. And the fucking thumbnail was definitely, all right. Okay, so this is a video of somebody explaining more from like the other end of this. And I think I want to show her side and what she's referring to. Because this is the opposite side as well.
They're leaving here to go to Latin America to be with a Latin woman, and it's almost like implying to women here that you're not doing your job good enough, so I'm going to go to South America to find it there. And I think that's where it really starts pissing women off, because as a woman or anyone, like, you only know what you know and you only know what you're doing, you know? So like things like this raise controversy because you see a man, whatever, going to South America and it's like, why is he doing that or whatever? People do things for a reason. And his reason is, I don't feel like I'm getting what I need here. Now, women will argue that it's because, no, you can't handle a woman here, or you can't handle being with, what is it, like a boss lady or whatever people are calling themselves nowadays. You can't handle that. You should learn how to be more of a man to be with a woman like myself, right? That's what women will say. But at the end of the day, men are leaving because they feel lack. They feel like they're not getting that. And I think that's where women, it's like, this is the controversy that's starting to piss them off, because they're just like, why are you doing that? You know, like what is even the purpose of that? And then it kind of starts bringing it to like, what do not Latin women have that American women don't have, but what are they doing that we're not doing? You know? And then that whole thing is like, well, Latin women have no problem catering to you, or, you know, being really sweet to you, or saying, mi amor, ¿qué necesitas? Like things like that, like being really sweet to you. Whereas
I'm not going to disagree on that part. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not going to disagree on that part.
as here, that's kind of been dying out. It's been fizzling out, right? And then that
Yeah.
also starts teaching women that it's not to say that you need to do more, but you need to be connected more to who you are and stop trying to reach that bar that society is now telling you to reach. The think like a woman, like be more like a man, the podcasts that are out, like it's teaching you how to play this game. But if you're learning how to play this game, it's fine, but it's a game. Like you're
Yeah, no, I do feel that. But see, that would include like the fucking, I don't know, like the Andrew Tate type podcast. Like I don't think that's the kind of podcast she was referring to at all. But I think that like these people who go on podcasts that are designed to teach them how to be men, how to be alpha males, whatever, right? Like I think that's also playing a role in this game. And ironically, they would be the ones to bitch about all of the things. Yeah, I don't know.
you're not going to learn how to be in a real relationship with man and woman.
I was gonna say they would be the ones to bitch about the way things are here, but they would be the ones contributing to the game here. Like, I don't know. I have so many thoughts right now.
Like you're not going to learn how to be in a real relationship with man and woman, because that's supposed to be a balance. You're going to learn how to be equal to a man. And
Okay, so I think that line I think comes from like a Christian background, the like needing to be a balanced thing. I mean, because like I'm not against like a like, same sex marriage or relationship, obviously. So, and then also where I'm going to disagree with her on that, I think, is like I don't think there's anything wrong with women being masculine or men being feminine, and like a straight dude could be feminine and like a straight woman could be masculine. And if that's just their relationship, then that's just their relationship. Um I mean, that's not how I am. Like I'm not a feminine dude, but like that doesn't mean I have to be against other dudes being feminine, right? Uh yeah, I'm not with her on that point. So I don't know. That's what I'm doing. I'm listening to this and I'm giving my commentary and my thoughts. You guys watching me think and figure stuff out in real time.
that's not realistic, because someone has to play that role. You have to let a man be a man. And how else is a man supposed to be a man if you're trying to do his job for him? That's where things get screwed up. And then women get mad that he's not doing this, he's not doing that. But you're over dominating things. You're trying to do things, right? And then it falls on them. Then men stop.
I think to some point, yeah, because it's like women. I do think she has a point to saying like women will want to start taking on more roles, but then when men start giving up those roles, then it's kind of like men ain't shit, men aren't doing shit, men aren't living up to these expectations. You know what I mean? So there's something there.
Doing things. They're not performing or doing what they should be. And it's like, you're literally trying to be equal, you know? So that's where it's just like, we have to understand. And I think it's almost as simple as looking back to how things were back in the day. It's not crazy or absurd to say, like, do the same thing now. Things have changed so much that some people may think like it's crazy to live life that way.
Back in the day? No, man. I keep going back and forth with my agreement and disagreement with this one. It's so. I don't know what my overall conclusion is at all. I need to go back. Something about okay.
We have to understand, and I think it's almost as simple as looking back to how things were back in the day. It's not crazy or absurd to say, like, do the same thing now.
No, oh yeah, no, it is actually, because back in the day, you see, this is the problem. Oh man, and this is where I get a little bit more on like okay. So like back in the day, women weren't allowed to have their own bank accounts. And this is what people need to realize. Whenever you hear the whole thing about like, oh, marriage used to last longer. And what, some people will say, well, back in their day, if something broke, you fixed it. Nowadays, you just throw it away and get something new. People are failing to realize this. Back then, women could not actually get bank accounts in their own name, right? And since women couldn't get bank accounts in their own name, what that meant was that they were like, if you were a woman and you got married to a man, then you were financially dependent on him. If he then turned out to be abusive, because I don't know if everybody realizes this, a lot of domestic abusers, they're not like abusive from the get-go. Like they don't show up on their first date and slap their girlfriend and see if she's okay with it. They build a relationship, they get dependency first, and they start taking advantage of that. That's normally a little bit closer to what happens with like domestic abuse. So when people talk about this like back in the day shit, that's something that I think that like this woman in this video isn't taking into account. So I mean, I wouldn't say she's unintelligent, but I definitely think she's unaware or not taking into account this very relevant point of this conversation. And that's like a very important thing to not be ignorant about, I guess, with respect to what we're talking about. So I don't know. Anybody watching, give your comments. What are you thinking about what she's saying? What I'm saying? Am I a piece of shit? Am I pathetic too? I don't know. Am I a fucking passport bro, or am I a hater? Too feminist for you? Not feminist enough? What am I? Comment.
Things have changed so much that some people may think like it's crazy to live life that way. But that's how life always was. That's how things always were back in the day, you know? So like I think it's more about people taking a look at your role, looking at how you want to be, the kind of partner that you want to be, and see if what you're doing right now matches up to that. If it doesn't, then there are things that are going to change. And if they don't change, people are going to go elsewhere. Just like a man is going to South America, women can go somewhere else too. Like if you want to go to those greater lengths, you can. But why do that if you can just change things about yourselves in a positive way to attract partners that are already like by you and near you?
Huh. Man. So
Feminism.
So I guess there was I guess I could put the screen share down. Yeah, see, there's what I'm thinking. Like we should do things the way we do to. That is a perfect response. So you want to not vote? Like, want to not be able to drive? Like, is she realizing that? I don't know. I guess devil's advocate here. She could be saying, "Oh, well, let's do things the way we were in relationships, but keep our rights to do more things." Because I mean, you could say we could go back to prior traditional gender roles, but then, and again, I'm doing devil's advocate here, but then maintain, the new rights that they have. Yeah, nope, I'm with you on that. When I was talking about it, I don't know if you were here. Yeah, you probably were when I was talking about the whole bank account situation. Like they didn't have the right to have their bank account. So when people talk about why did marriages, like why did they last so much longer back then? It's like, well, they were stuck. They couldn't leave. Just stuck with somebody abusive for life. Okay, so I think what you have is a situation where people are how do I even let's see, hold on. I'm gonna put the StreamYard link in the chat. This is an open stream, so if anybody wants to join, then you will have the option to do so. Because I don't know, my brain is still processing everything. I might just put another video on about this topic. You know what? I'm gonna go to the news article that I was on. You know, let's go for it. Okay, because if somebody's speaking about yeah, I'm gonna play this, and then after the fact start take people on stream if anybody wants to come on. Okay, so if this is somebody who is speaking out following allegations, I guess this is exactly what we're looking for. Like, okay, what do you got to say for yourself? What are you talking about? What's your perspective? Because I want to hear from you now.
The Factor Uncensored. As we mentioned last night, the controversial community of passport bros continues to grow around the country. There's a private Facebook group with more than 10,000 members. Now, the group is known for a bit more than just traveling. Some guys make it their mission to fly around the world, meet more submissive women, and have sex. They are facing a lot of criticism, too. Now, that's from those who critique them. My next guest, Austin Holman, said he had to end a trip in Brazil early after he was accused of being one of those guys who said Brazilian women are easy to get. We talked to him today.
Austin, what kind of damn trouble did you get yourself into with these Brazilian women?
Well, actually, I wasn't trying to start any trouble. I actually thought I was doing a lot of promoting. But apparently some things were lost. Some things were purposely lost in translation on purpose. And that it's led to death threats, you know, and I was already on my way to Thailand anyway. I was going to be in Sao Paulo for about a week. But based off the way how things were going, I just said, you know what, I probably ought to head out 3 or 4 days earlier. So I'm over here now.
So I saw a part of your video where you said, and you clarified, you said some Brazilian women are easy. It depends on who you are, how you approach them, not as a robot, but as an individual. And when they heard that, they just went bonkers over those comments when you said that Brazilian women are easy. Some Brazilian women are easy to get. So why did you say that? Is that reality for you when you're there? Is it easier for you to get Brazilian women than, say, American women?
Yes, the culture is completely different there. So women are a lot more responsive. It's a lot more reasonable dealing with women, if you ask me. There's games everywhere, but there is such a minimal level in Brazil, it's almost unnoticeable. But the reason I said easier, and the thing is, the reason a lot of those Brazilians are in like an outrage is because number one, they're going off, they're just running. It's just like January 6th, right? Trump says do this, everybody runs and does it. That's the same thing they're doing right now. Without watching the video, without understanding what the title actually is, because the title is a question. The title says, "Are Brazilian women easy?" That's the topic. This is what we're going to talk about. The first statement I made is, in general, they're easy to deal with. I didn't say anything about sex. I did eventually, and later on in the video, but I didn't lead with that because that's not all that.
Okay, but hold on. I mean that
I would not move to another country.
Ah, man. But obviously that's the implication, and anyone should be reasonably expected to realize that, is what I'm saying. And I see that I got 2 people in here, so I'm gonna play the rest of this video, and I'm gonna get to talking to you guys about this whole topic. Okay.
And get online and call the women easy.
Did you move to Brazil? Were you living there? at that
Oh,
point?
Yeah, I was living there.
Now you're in Thailand.
Yeah, well, I'm not living in Thailand though. I was already gonna come here anyway. I had already put up I think it was 10 or 11 countries I was gonna do this year, but I just came here 4 or 5 days earlier because of everything that was going on. But yeah, I did want to live in Brazil permanently, but I'm gonna have to let this die down first.
So there's this whole movement that we've heard about called passport bros, individuals, usually upwardly mobile African American men who leave the country, and they say they're looking for wives, different women than what they have or the choices that they have in the United States. And many people have taken offense to it, saying it's just a form of sex tourism. It's a form of human trafficking or sex trafficking. When you hear the term, do you consider yourself a passport brother? And what do you think about that so-called movement that we've been seeing as of late here in the United States?
I would consider myself, yes. Now, I do want to state this too. People have called me the leader. I've never claimed that. That's something that they said. I'm not. There's no official leader of that. I think it's just an identity.
Okay,
of
so it
somebody
is an
that has
actual group of people,
they're
community.
traveling
Got
for
that.
that purpose, traveling to meet new women and enjoy a different culture and a better lifestyle. Those
But
are the
really
three
quick, for
reasons.
those who may say this is just a form of prostitution, you're going to different countries to pay and to have sex with women. You're not truly having a relationship with them.
That's not my reality because I moved there. So if I'm not going back and forth. So if anybody's gonna have a relationship, it would have been me. Now there are some dudes that do travel back and forth. There are some people do fit into those categories that they claim, but I'm not here to say that's the majority. There are men that go down there just to sleep with women. That women do the same thing too. Women do sex tourism too. But there are men that are enjoying the difference of the culture and programming of women in a different country.
Do you think
Okay, and I wanted to comment that I don't think there's something wrong with enjoying the difference in the culture of another country, and there's also not something wrong with discovering about yourself um, that you're more compatible with someone of another culture, and there could be a list of reasons why that's the case, but that in itself, I'm going to say, isn't a problematic aspect, and I think that's a fundamental aspect. There are a few different fundamental aspects here, right? I'm highlighting one of them that isn't so bad, and then it looks like a lot of them I'm not with. So it looks like so far my judgment is, you know, A, this is an actual official like established movement. B, I would not join or be a part of this. And yeah, no, if we were using this term as like a pejorative label, I don't think I would match what it is. Anyway, so that makes me feel better. It was like, am I one of these fucking people? Okay, cool. I'm not.
this gives the movement a bad name, the passport bros a bad name, if your sole purpose is for sex tourism and prostitution?
Yes, and on my YouTube channel, I actually tell dudes not to go down there to deal with prostitutes because you cannot complain about American women and then just go pay for some experience that she's getting paid. She's not. I'm not gonna say it's not genuine, but I'm gonna assume it's not genuine because you didn't have the money. I don't think she'd treat you like that.
You're
so
absolutely right. Now, one of the comments you made in your video, you said it's extremely hard to find. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack when it comes to a good American woman. So are you doing harm yourself when you make comments like that?
I say that based off of the qualities that I want. And my mother used to cook for me at least twice a day when I was growing up. And I know American women see, oh, you want a mother. Well, if that's how you look at it, so be it. You should have Uber Eats all your food then. But I want a woman that cooks. And the thing is, this is what a lot of people don't understand down here. As an American,
See, and this is my thing is that you just call me crazy. I think I'm missing something here. Cook for each other. Both of you cook for each other. You want a woman to cook, like she cooks breakfast and you cook dinner. So like, I don't know. Do some people just think, am I crazy? Is this not an option? I don't know. I'm missing something. I'm missing something. Okay.
Put you in the top 1% of the world. So as an American, you go somewhere to another country, you have enough excess income to eat out 3 times a day in Brazil or Thailand or Colombia. You can eat out 3 times a day. So whoever my wife is, she's not even gonna be cooking anyway. Because I don't even, when I was in the States, I cooked for myself, but I have my money multiplied 5 times when I got to Brazil. So why would I stand in the kitchen and cook when I can just go downstairs and eat and somebody make it for me? So the
You
whole
do
slave-
know, though, Austin, there are American women who will cook for you if you're deserving of that meal.
well, okay, so that's the problem though. What is deserving?
Meaning you're a good husband. You bring home the bacon, and they're bringing home the bacon together.
Well, I will say
It sounds-
there are some women who are maybe from a lack of appreciation in the past or whatever who are just inclined against cooking. Like I dated someone who wouldn't cook. Like it was like, so I didn't have to. I mean, I cooked for her a few times actually because I like cooking, but I didn't like do it regularly. Like it wasn't a thing that I did every day. There wasn't an expectation or anything. But my thing is just like I'm okay with somebody not cooking for me, but then don't expect me to cook for you, right? So like, but yeah, no, I mean, so hit play on this thing. It's just fucking just do things mutually. Damn, why is that? Where am I?
Sounds good. It sounds good. I think at a young age I realized it wasn't like that.
Did you give it a chance? And how old are you now?
23.
How old?
23.
23?
Yeah.
Man, you ain't giving no damn time.
I didn't need to. I gave it 2 or 3 years, and yeah, I went to Brazil one time, and I didn't talk to anybody since I got back.
That's when he lost my ass.
Okay. All right. Well, now I'm gonna do the part where I remove this, and I have 2 people who are gonna join me for conversation. So everybody, please welcome Nitty and Christopher Green. How are you guys both doing?
Doing good.
Good.
Not too happy with what I'm hearing, but yeah, doing all right.
Hey, your shit's like really loud. Could you turn the volume down on that a little bit?
Oh shit, really? Hold on, yeah.
You're good. And then Nitty, how you doing?
Oh man, I'm fantastic.
Hell yeah. Well, glad to have you here. So,
Mhm.
there was a lot to talk about in that video. And I mean, so you pick because I've been going already. So now you do your part. I mean, yeah, I want to hear from somebody else because I've been listening so much and on really so earlier when I was hearing the like for and against, there were so many parts where I was like, I agree with this person, and now I disagree very strongly, and then I agree very strongly, and then I was all over the place with where I felt. So
Yeah. I
take it
missed some
away.
earlier parts, but so it's interesting, right? Where let's go in reverse order. I guess like with Passport Bros.
Yeah.
Or that guy, like expecting your woman to cook. What if the expectations were reversed and you know, the woman or person that you're really attracted to expects you to hunt, kill, and skin with your hands? Could you do it? Would you want to?
That's
You know
true,
what I
but,
mean?
but somebody could also just argue that if they're just providing the means, that would be their role, and that in
But
the modern world, they're
like 150 years ago, that would be the expectation, though.
that would be the expectation, but that's because that would be the means to fulfilling
Yeah.
the providing. But as long as if the role is providing, then you could maintain the role with different means of providing the role,
Okay.
and thus you would be able to still have the different roles. Because like this is my whole thing here is like I don't think there's a problem with a relationship where it's traditional in the sense that you have a husband, and he is the breadwinner. No, people might not like that word, but he,
Sure.
does that. And you have a woman who's the homemaker. So because she's not working, she's taking care of the house and cooking because he's taking on a role that she's not, and she's taking on a role that he's not, and that balances it out. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think the problem is that basically, so we live in a modern world where now, for let's just say capitalistic reasons, because of the fucking way things are in our world today, one person's income very less commonly can support a full household. So now it's the case that both are going to be working. But now you have a lot of men who are expecting women to maintain these traditional roles, but they're both working, right? So like that's part of the inequality there, because if both of you are the breadwinner, then you expecting your wife or your girlfriend to be the homemaker and you not be, well, that's just like, okay, well, now you're expecting her to take on a role that you're not for no reason. And yeah, what else were you going to say though?
Well, I really liked your point about women who are not particularly inclined to cooking, but in addition to that, maybe women or your partner in a relationship not being given the skills to cook. And then also because they weren't given the skills or incentives to cook or take on those kinds of maybe like more the things that we readily associate with homemaker roles like cleaning or organization, those are things that you maybe have personally taken on. And then you make that part of your agreement or your contract or your reciprocity in your relationship. And that's exactly what I have in my marriage. My wife is fantastic with children, but she is not adept at the stove or the oven or combining ingredients and having the patience to create meals. And I love, being able to contribute that way to our relationship. And it doesn't make me more effeminate. It doesn't make me less masculine or her less feminine, right? That she doesn't cook. It's just how that relationship dynamic works,
right? And then
that should be fine, right?
And not everybody wants to cook. When I can get myself back into cooking, I like cooking. I haven't cooked in a long time though, so I'm not gonna act like I have. So I generally would say I don't like cooking just because I don't feel like it. So it's not like a role that I would really normally want to take on. But I do think that if I want someone to cook for me, I should have to cook for them, or I should fulfill another role that they're not fulfilling, and that's a kind of a balance. That's just balancing things, and so, yeah, I don't know. That's, yeah, some women aren't inclined to cook, and that's fine. Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, is this any better?
It's better than it was. Yeah. Say something.
Is it still a little too loud or?
Nah, you're right.
No, you're good. It's definitely bearable now.
Okay, cool. All right. Sorry about what happened before. Yeah, I think so. For my personal opinion, I have so I'm very big on things like individualism and being basically your own person. In other words, you get to decide, what kind of things you do and don't like, and none of those kind of things get to be dictated to you. Also, like when it comes down to traditional gender roles, I'm not against them. I think if every couple gets to decide for themselves, kind of like what Nitty was saying there. They get to kind of decide for themselves, for, what kind of relationship dynamic that they want to have. And so some people like doing the whole traditional thing. Other people don't. And I think that no one should be shamed for whatever path they choose on that. So when you're in a relationship, it seems right to me to say that, so just basically seeing her as a human being who also has her own individual thoughts and emotions and frame of mind or mindset about different things. You're entering into a kind of a contract with, so to speak, with someone who is just as much of an individual as you are, right? So the whole expectation, so putting on these expectations onto someone else that you're in a relationship with, such as you got to do the cooking, you got to do the cleaning, you got to do the child rearing, you know, for all day until I get home, and then I'll do a couple things with the kids here and there. You know, I guess for some people, if they like that, but what I'm saying is putting that expectation on somebody when it's not your right to do so is something that I, because for me, I see that as a violation of autonomy. No, I will tell you, um, you know,
Right.
whether I'm going to cook or take care of the kids or whatever kind of things I'm
Yeah.
going to do, and
Mhm.
you don't get to step on that. So that's something that I'm personally really big on.
Yeah. Nope, I would agree with you on that. Like, it's not. I don't have a problem with things being traditional. I just
Hmm.
feel like people shouldn't enforce that
Yeah.
or expect,
Right.
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's like, nope. I'm with you on this.
Yeah.
Like, this is the thing. What I don't know. Like, to me, I would just think that society all over the world, just how much time has gone by and how long humans have been around, that people would be able to figure their shit out enough to go, like, let's do things equally and let's be fair.
Hmm. Yeah.
But that's,
I'm big on egalitarianism, or however you pronounce that word.
yeah, I'm still, I guess I'm just lost at how stupid, like, society is
Mhm.
today. Like, yeah, no, really, it's kind of how I'm feeling.
Oh, and also, while it's on my mind,
Yeah.
I wanted to say that, like, so where I would disagree with that other lady, or where what I'm disagreeing with on this whole thing is, so personally, I'm really big about, like, I'm an advocate for sexual freedom.
Right.
So, I come from a background where, you know, you're told that fornication is evil. If you do that, you're going to hell, so on and so forth. And being very restrictive with what kind of acts can and cannot be done in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm very big on sexual freedom. I don't really honestly see a problem with going to a country and, you know, and enjoying everything there, but also hooking up, because again, I'm not against hooking up either. I think people should be allowed to have as much sex as they want with whoever they want,
Right.
with that
Well,
person's consent.
right.
Obviously,
So
the
that's
consent
the
is a
key
big thing
word.
there.
Well, since the consent is a big thing, I would say that's why I'm still against sex tourism, though. So, like,
Hmm.
I could
Yeah.
ethically defend sex workers, but
Yes.
but like, we're not talking about the judgment of the sex worker here.
Yeah.
We're talking about the people who buy their services, and you know, and this is the thing that is the criticism of the passport bros that I think is genuine here,
Mm.
is that you do have men who go to other countries that are poor simply because they're more poor and they're exploiting people there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not
Right.
cool. Okay, and I
But
think intent
then
has a lot to
maybe,
do with it. Yeah.
right, but then maybe that's becoming a stereotype that's being applied to not everybody that it really applies to.
Hmm.
And
Sure.
maybe that's kind of like a nuanced just reality of this whole conversation. Because it's like, you were talking about sexual freedom. I agree with you. And even if we reduce the word sex, you know, sexuality of it, even if we just say, like, I am very strongly of the principle that people should be allowed to love and be in a relation. People should be allowed to be in a relationship with whoever they love, as long as that
Hmm.
person is also a consenting adult, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
If we're talking about two consenting adults, then there isn't something wrong with them loving someone from another country, being in a relationship with someone from
Exactly.
another
Yeah.
country. But I think that some people judge people for dating or having sex with people in other countries, and their reason for judging people who might not deserve it comes from the fact that there are people who deserve that judgment because it is true about them. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I can get on board with that.
So it's like perfect example, fetishization. There are people who fetishize other cultures, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Yeah, like
it's
neckbeards with Japanese culture.
yeah, it's exactly. So it's wrong to fetishize someone, you know, Japanese women, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that if somebody is, you know, an American, a white person, black person, whatever, and they're dating someone who's Japanese and they're, you know, and that's their sexual partner, like, that doesn't entail that they're fetishizing them. And I think yeah, that's another thing where people ultimately end up in this place where they're judging people for loving someone
Mm-hmm.
Of a different people. There's your people and there's my people, right? And
Yeah,
people
yeah, yeah.
ultimately they're judging someone for falling in love with or being with or having sex with someone of a other people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that, yeah, it's just kind of like they get into, there's this almost kind of racist criticism that comes along. And I've heard this a lot, like, so, okay, so, you know, a lot of white people will get upset whenever, because I'm just speaking from experience from what I've heard. And I mean, in real life, what I've heard. So, okay, like, for an example, how about the dad who doesn't want his white daughter to be with an African-American man, right? And then you have kind of like some others that will say, oh, you know, our women are going after African American men, or our men are going after African American women. And then, you know, I've also heard on the flip side that same scenario going on with um, other racial backgrounds. Like, you know, I've heard, I don't know if it's just primarily you know, African American comedians or what, but just the criticism that from women that, you know, our black men are going after white women, you know, things like that. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of gets into this like thing where it's like, you know, what would be the issue with someone finding love in a different country, right?
right. So I think that goes to, okay, so other country, or even if we're not doing the other country thing, let's go to the example of race, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There are people who fetishize black people, or black people you could say fetishizing white people, right?
Sure.
And that exists, but that doesn't, and you can say that's wrong, but I think then some people, because that exists, are judging everyone who is in an interracial relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not everybody who's in love with, in a relationship, or having a sexual, you know, relation with, of another skin color, like that doesn't mean that they're fetishizing them. And then I guess some people who maybe their heart is in the right place because they're against that racist fetishization, now they're the person who's telling people not to date another skin color. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah, exactly. I think that's
I
probably
think
why I was trying to go with that. I'm a little bit on, you know, on that green
you're
stuff, so
a
I'm
little
trying
bit
to,
on that reefer.
yeah, so I'm trying to put it together. It's not.
I am too. I'm just not a punk bitch, and I can handle my shit.
Oh, gotcha. Sid looking ass boy. All right.
Well, it's almost like
I wanted to
like-
roast him back, but he was just objectively right. So I just had to accept it. That's what you do when somebody roasts you, when they just get it, and they just get it on the fucking head. All right, man.
I practice my roast game, bro. I really do.
I'm with you. All right. And what were you gonna say, Nitty?
Well, it's like, you know, this concept of moral gatekeeping, right? Like, oh, I recognize the problem. Now it's my turn to say which relationships are acceptable, or who should do what, or it gets into a whole mess there.
Right. And so here's my thing. I'm gonna just say what my preference is, because so like I don't have a problem with the idea of a relationship where I'm the only one working and she's the only one cooking, but preferably I would rather we both just do everything and just divide everything.
That's right.
And both work, both pay for some things, and then both
Same.
cook, and then both do some cleaning. And if she's cleaning more, I'll cook more, make up for that. But like, just either way, like I'm with Amarillo here. Like, yeah, there's got to be a balance, and evolution is to stop thinking that women should only be at home. And also, like, society just can't afford that anymore. So like when I'm watching debates, and I'm seeing a lot of Muslim apologists argue against women working, and I'm just like, do you realize that, like, for financial reasons, families need more than one income nowadays, because the cost of living has gone up and wages have not gone up. So now you need like it's a necessary thing. Women are going to be joining the workforce.
You want
Yeah.
50% of the population to have no meaningful economic contribution. That's what they're saying.
I love
Yeah.
that.
That was a great line right there. Love
That
that
was-
shit, dude.
That there was
That was
like
banging.
2 great lines. There was the one I highlighted earlier from that one guy's video, right? And then there was that line that I'm going to put a lot of emphasis on.
Yeah,
You want
certainly.
50% of the population to not have any economic, would you say gain? Any economic
Contribution.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That
Thank you.
okay. All right. We went in here. This is so yeah, I think all of the same things I thought. Okay, cool. I just feel more established in what I think, I guess.
I'm glad I could
Hey.
validate you.
Shane,
Thanks,
so I want to
yeah.
get your perspective on this. So we talk about fetishizing different kinds of people and everything. But I'm wondering if this falls into that category. So would you say that, let's just say, I've noticed that I have more of an attraction towards Hispanic women. And my
Right.
wife, she's a quarter Hispanic, and she looks pretty Hispanic to me. That's never really been a conscious thing for me. I just kind of gravitated towards that way, I guess. But I have to wonder, like, would it be?
I don't think
Would you
so.
say it's fetishizing just to say, I as like a white guy
Nah.
prefer Mexican women? Let's say.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't think that that's fetishizing, and I'm going to say why. All it is you have a preference, and lo mismo para mí, mi hermano. Yeah.
I'm not good on Spanish, but
I said the same.
Luckily-
The same for me, my brother. Like, yeah. No, it's perfectly. Well, sometimes I think I have a preference, and then my preference kind of. I realize I'm just like I like women.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly though, the other thing is though, there's like now that I'm speaking Spanish, like there are things that sound romantic in Spanish that just sound weird in English. So I'm like, I would just there's another more inclination right toward someone Hispanic. But yeah, no. So like my thing is, if somebody is like, if you're a white woman and you're particularly attracted to black men, or you're and you're particularly attracted to Hispanic women, that's not fetishization. That's just a preference that you have.
Yeah.
And so I guess, but that comes to like defining what fetishization is. I guess that's a little bit what's in the air, right? So, Nitty, you're smart. What's that?
I would say fetishization, something that would be a fetish would be
Right.
something that you are strongly drawn to that is outside your relative cultural, moral, or ethical norms.
Okay, so yeah, somebody not looking at them at the people as like people, but like not incorporating them in their lives
Well,
as
fetishes
people,
now,
but only incorporating them in their sexual life. So they don't incorporate them into their non-sexual life.
So if you were talking about fetishizing a person or ethnic group, yes, yeah. So that person or desire would be purely for some kind of experiential fulfillment, right?
Okay.
But there are other things that constitute as fetishes, unfortunately.
Yeah, like BDSM or something.
Right. That
I don't see a problem
aren't
with
necessarily related to a person, but it's like a behavior or transaction.
Like because like let's just take that BDSM for an example.
Hold on, pause. But to stay on topic, right? The fetishization of a like archetype of person or it would have to just lie outside of most norms,
right?
Most accepted norms.
Gotcha.
That's because you have to make that word still meaningful without it bleeding into what Shane pointed out, which is preference, right?
Yeah.
Because just because you really, really like I like titties, Nitty loves titties. That's the joke at Tang. Like
Nitty likes titties.
So
hell yeah,
you just got to deal with it, right? And so just because I have a preference for larger breast size does not mean that's my fetish, right? My
Okay.
fetish is the thing that I will keep secret right now, and because it lies outside of some other people's norms that might watch this later, and we'll talk about that. But
Yeah.
so that's how I would kind of think about it, conceptualize it, and then frame that kind of conversation. And if so, with the idea of sex tourism, maybe for some people, because like being with the kind of person they're pursuing, whatever that means for them, whatever place in the world, blah blah blah. Like, imagine a Madagascaran person being like, "Holy crap! I just need a petite, Wisconsin woman." Like, because you can't get that normally.
Wisconsin of all places.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Don't you know? He just needs a little bit. So,
what? I don't know why that's so funny. Wisconsin.
I try, but you get the idea, right? It has to be something like that's way outside of his norms, way outside of his bounds.
Now
and
I'm
it's
just wondering, like, has
self-recognized.
anybody ever gone? I'm gonna go look for someone from Wisconsin. I'm gonna go get me a nice, cute girl from Wisconsin. Has anybody ever said
that like a movie trope or something?
Has anyone ever said that before? Other than sarcastically in this stream.
Other than guys in Wisconsin, I guess. Wisconsin, yeah.
I tried to think of like some inverse example that's not like really culturally crude, so that
nobody
people
gives a fuck
watching it
about
back-
Wisconsin.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the that's what makes it funny.
Yeah, that nobody gives a fuck about Wisconsin. Hey, if you're from Wisconsin, I was gonna say I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck. You're from Wisconsin. I'm just kidding, Wisconsin people. Love to everybody.
Yes.
But we still just don't give a fuck about where you live.
Mad hate coming from it.
But it's like it's almost as ridiculous as saying is like I have a fetish for a Japanese black queer Jew.
Yeah, that would be one interesting. That would be like, I think it'd be a tough combination. I mean, it's not impossible combination, but I mean, it's kind of.
I came up with that in 2003.
Yeah,
so,
gotcha.
Like, oh,
and
shit.
it still works.
Yeah.
You're like you finally meet that person. And
My
they're like,
universe implodes.
I only like the opposite of you.
Whatever that would be.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Sorry, this went on a total tangent, but anyway, that's how we got to fetish and preference and making a difference.
Well, no, I mean, I think it was brought up somewhere in that video, probably. I don't know if I remember that right or not.
Okay. So, I should think more about the whole. I don't know. I guess we covered the Passport Bros topic. I think pretty like thoroughly.
Yeah.
I think we've figured out that, yeah, what we're not against is people falling in love or being in relationships with people who live in other countries, and that's not merely what this movement is.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we're not with the movement. We're with something that is like an aspect of it, but definitely not the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I meant the aspect is just the difference in the part of the world aspect. Other than that, no. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, I guess here's an interesting concept. What are your guys' like stances or thoughts about like, how do I want to put this? It'd be kind of like virtual sex across the wire.
What do you mean?
In
like,
order,
like calling up a sex line, you mean?
Well, but we've got things like StreamYard or ChatterBait or whatever. Like,
right. I mean, there are people who do like cam show things.
Right.
I mean, there's OnlyFans. I guess I'm not seeing the difference. You know what I mean?
So that's a way
like OnlyFans and whatnot
for someone to go beyond they're not going to the like. To get my point across.
Oh, you mean like to connect with people from other countries? It's basically the same concept, but virtually.
Yes.
Sorry, God, it took
yeah.
a second to click.
Why is it that we're
Dude,
less okay with sex tourism as a physical transaction, but more lenient towards a virtual?
Well, because
Well,
the
okay.
former
Yeah, go ahead.
involves the exploitation and human trafficking, and the latter doesn't involve human trafficking. That's a big difference.
But is it so?
Well,
but
actually, I
when-
don't want to say that porn doesn't involve human trafficking at all. There have been
Well,
cases
yeah, it
where a
does.
porn
It's in there
website,
somewhere. Yeah.
yeah,
couldn't someone be on a ChatterBait stream just because their pimp put them there?
It could
they
be.
could be, but
No, well, I know that happens actually. I've seen that in a documentary.
Yeah, that-
with Filipino girls.
Okay, so
Shit.
So now we just uncovered a new topic. Is it wrong to do chatterbait stuff because is that human trafficking?
I think it, dude. It's just
We don't know.
It's got to depend on
What
whether
about-
you know that person's situation or not, or
But
at least can draw some inferences on
Yeah,
what their situation
is the
is or
person
not.
that I'm engaging with over
Now,
this
how would we
platform
know?
consenting? Yeah.
But
Consenting,
like I
yeah.
explained earlier, though, on my perspective on this, like if let's just say a single young man decides to go to another country, he's not there solely for this purpose, and this may be the key here. But if he goes to another country, decides he's going to let loose, have a good time, use Tinder to hook up over there, or something like that, or he meets some person of interest that they mutually decide they want to hook up. I don't see a problem with that. I don't see any real
because
issue
the
with that.
whole
So
consent
take
is
that.
built into what you're
Yeah, so that's
hypothetical,
I think we highlighted earlier how intent makes the big difference here.
Yeah.
And so for an example, like I said, there's got to be some way that you can draw inferences I guess about the person you're camming with, and
Right.
then like if you kind of can basically get the idea that their situation isn't abusive, how would you? I don't know necessarily what would be the means of going about doing that. I've never done any of that kind of thing, so I have no idea. Right.
So I guess then with the cam thing and really just with the porn in general, pornography in general, right?
Mhm.
Is it maybe the case that the only way it's actually ethical to consume it is if you epistemically verify, do your due diligence to verify that it is in fact not human trafficking, or are you just obligated to not do it if you do know it? But then I don't know.
Yeah, okay, I see. So that's what I was trying to get at. That is the tough part. I mean,
if you're truly ignorant of your partner's situation, then I think it would be ethical.
But we're talking about the difference between just simply watching an uploaded video and then also intentionally camming with a person live, right?
I don't think there is a difference, so that's why I kind of just grouped them together.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I
So
think
was
there
just
is a
talking-
difference.
What do you mean?
Because I don't think it's necessarily possible to get that information from a posted video, posted in the past. All this stuff has happened, video or thing.
Oh, I see what you mean. As to where in like a live
in
one,
live in real time, yeah,
you could be paying attention to, like, is she looking at the corner of the room a lot, scared or something? Like,
Sure, yeah. I mean, those
there's
are
a
inferences
lot
you could
more
draw.
dynamics
That's kinda
that are
tough, though.
happening
Yeah.
in real time that you can make that decision.
because I've
more
never,
clearly.
I've never done that live cam thing.
Well, me neither, but I'm just trying to
Wait,
like.
you have an OnlyFans, Shane?
That is true. Yeah, no, that part's true. But I'm the
but that's, I
content
guess,
creator. Well, OnlyFans, I think, is actually a good thing to exist because what it does is it provides people who want to make porn with an opportunity to do so in such a way that they're not being human trafficked. I don't want to say definitely. I don't want to say necessarily.
Right.
But like it, because with these porn companies, like there's a porn company, a popular one called Girls Do Porn, very popular for a long time. Turned out they were entirely a human trafficking operation.
Jesus.
And you could watch the interviews. I would encourage hearing the interviews of the women who were involved in this company and what they went through. And first of all, they were lied to and told that it was only going to be put on DVDs in other countries, and they were not mentioned the name of the website it would be on. No, it turns out it ends up getting on these really popular websites. Obviously, some of them are getting disowned by their families for it and things like that. But then that's not anywhere near the worst of it. The thing is, they would be like coerced. They wouldn't be able to leave. Like they'd be kept in places that, everything you could think of with sex trafficking is what happened to them. Couldn't leave and were being raped,
if
like, and
if
I'm
you're gonna
what
disown your kid for being in a porn because your family member told you, disown the fucking family member too,
I think,
because they fucking
yeah,
found it.
that's the
Yeah.
consumer,
I
right?
mean, yeah, you don't need to be disowning people over providing some service with their body. I mean,
Right.
like kind of like Shane was talking about earlier. I support the right of women or anybody to go out and sell their body as a service. I mean, that's not. I just don't see a problem with it.
Look,
Yeah.
And I mean,
Mitty's gonna get
you need to be
busy.
safe about it, those kind of things. But
And then my thing is, I agree and feel like we've established that we're not morally condemning the content producers, the porn stars, the sex workers, but then rather the question is, we're morally questioning the consumer, not the producer, just the consumer,
Generally,
right? And if we're saying, I think you could definitely say that you're not doing something wrong by buying somebody's OnlyFans, because then you're definitely just providing money to the producer of the content. But if you're somebody who's consuming pornography from Pornhub, then it's possible that you could be doing something wrong because you aren't fulfilling your due diligence or you can't possibly know if the
contributors are
are consenting or if they're human trafficking.
Yeah.
And that's something that I just recently started really becoming more aware of and thinking about in the past few days, because I found, I mean, because first I just assumed if it was a big company, it probably was going through ethical processes and stuff, right? But the fact that a company that was definitely a human trafficking company was one of the top 10 contributors to Pornhub, which is one of the largest content providers in the world, then that really leaves me thinking, like maybe the consumers of porn on like large websites are being unethical, but the ones who are buying OnlyFans are not.
Right. Or in addition to
I don't know
that, I
about
will
that.
say that no matter what you're into, there's a subreddit for you.
That's
Yeah,
true.
true.
Yeah.
True.
And I'm not saying I'm conclusive about
Yeah.
it being wrong to view free content on large websites. I'm just saying it's a serious consideration to take.
I think it is, but I also feel like, I guess if we're just going to go with what we can, which I guess at this point would just be seemings, it would seem to me anyway that whereas some nuanced thing is possible and obviously does happen, I don't think now it would make a whole lot of sense to just say, well, now let's throw the baby out with the bathwater and get rid of a resource that is good for a lot of either couples who watch it together or even just single people who don't have a sexual outlet because not everybody can just do OnlyFans. I mean, everybody's got their different budgets and everything.
Could I steal man what I think your point is just because one producer of the content produced it through unethical means doesn't mean we should now stop consuming that content because there has been a case of someone producing it through unethical means.
And not just a case, I would say, so that was real close, but I would say like more than one case. It can be more than one case.
Right. I wasn't trying to imply that it was just one, but your point is just because something can be provided by an unethical means doesn't mean we should therefore assume that it has been provided by an unethical means every time that we see it.
Right. And so and another thing, it's kind of like this. Here's a good one. So there's no evidence of widespread voter fraud, right? That doesn't mean that voter fraud has not happened. It just wasn't widespread.
No,
so I would say I think the sex industry was in regards to pornography is in that kind of a situation where you're going to have some bad apples, but should we allow it to spoil the bunch, or should we just weed out the bad apples where we can find them, when we can find them? And then I wonder whether how condemnable ignorance can be in certain situations. Like
I'm with you
when
on
it comes
that.
to I don't know,
I mean,
when
that
your
really
dick is
comes down
out
to,
and
like,
it's hard.
Huh?
I'm sorry. I'm being terrible.
Oh, that's okay. You know what? I could circle back to that.
Your rational decision making is generally turned off. I'm just saying that's how the male brain works.
Right.
I'm hitting you with facts again.
There you go. Okay.
The
So-
accountability needs to drop a little bit.
Accountability. Yeah. Okay. Fuck.
If you ever watch one of my live streams, I don't shy away from just saying dick and testosterone and you're
Okay.
horny.
Yeah,
Whatever.
if I had a channel, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't. I mean, I'd be at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to YouTube channels
Okay.
because of that. But
Well, you know what? This is an uncensored fucking channel here. Oh, there we go. I just said fuck.
oh fuck,
So,
what
there you
do
go.
we do now?
Okay, so I guess, yeah, for me, this kind of comes back to epistemic duty and how responsible are people, or how like morally responsible are people for knowing things. Because
Mhm.
to some degree, if two people do the same thing and one of them is doing it out of ignorance and one of them is doing it knowingly, it's an equally harmful action, right? I feel like the person who's doing it knowing that it's harmful, they're the same action, but one person knows it's harmful. That person's morally worse. That's a worse person than somebody who's just being ignorant.
Mhm.
But at some point, if you're like, there is some epistemic duty. There is some I guess moral responsibility for knowing things.
Mhm.
For knowing shit. Yeah, so I guess it's just, so at the end of the day, I think ignorance is unethical. And people need to stop being ignorant. Basically, I think that's where I'm at here, is people need to stop being ignorant. Yeah.
I think that's not really what we're. I think the thing that we're, because how can you cure this brand of ignorance here? Like how, like what
Oh,
inferences?
fuck me. How do I cure
what kind
it?
of like? Well, here's what I mean. What kind of inference? How
Yeah.
can we come to get? How can we obtain these inferences
Yeah.
that
So-
we're watching something unethical?
I'm
I think that's more the question.
I'm gonna tell you the best that I can. You can't fix stupid, but you could fix ignorance. The reason is this: is ignorance is a lack of knowledge, and stupidity is a lack of intelligence. I can't do something that's gonna make a stupid person stop being stupid. There's nothing I could say to them that's gonna change the fact that they're stupid. You can give them all the information in the world, and they're gonna sit there and they're just gonna have information and be stupid. But ignorance is a lack of knowledge. And so if ignorance is a lack of knowledge, the cure to ignorance is knowledge. Is just the availability of information. So right now, I made available the information that human trafficking has been involved in large scale pornography production, right? So that information is now available to more people, because if anybody didn't know that and they listen to this stream, now they know that, and other people listening could go do their own research about how often that's the case within that industry. But I've made that information more available. So I feel like I've morally done a good thing today for the world. Like I'm making my contribution to the world, because I'm making people more informed on a decision, and that is whether or not they want to consume pornography. And like I said, I can't fix stupid, but I can fix ignorance. But in order for me to do that, people got to fucking listen.
I guess, dude. I mean, I agree with the general thing of what you're getting at here.
But how do we do that?
Again, it goes back to the question of how do we get that information? How do we draw those inferences? How do we, I'm not concerned with the what. I agree with the what. I just want to know what we do with the how.
Right.
And so, and it just kind of seems to me like if we were to say, I mean, how many? Where does that train stop? Where we say, okay, this thing has happened, and this thing has happened, this thing has happened, and so now we should uproot the entire thing, right? I just don't know that would be correct. I don't think we should.
Right. So
well,
I
think there's a difference between making like the consumer aware versus trying to change the producer or the outlet.
Well, basically, so what I think is, now that people know that that's the case, now people can know that that's a thing to take in question with every consumption.
Right.
So
before they consume at that venue.
Gotcha,
exactly. So I've provided people the first step. And now obviously I haven't got them to all of it, right? But that's the first step, is now you know, if you want to, you know, morally feel right about yourself and you want to consume this, that the first step is to question something about the source. Now, again, there's still lying all the problems of, you know, cool, we've identified, it's basically like we've identified some of what we're ignorant about. Now we have to figure out all the means of obtaining that information. And obviously that's the difficult problem that I'm not going to be the one that has a lot of solutions to today.
Right. Yeah.
But
it's getting later, and yeah, I get it.
Yep. So, all right. Anyway, so this has
This
been
was
a
cool.
good fucking
Thank
stream.
you so much, Shane. Thanks
Yeah.
for having me on.
Thanks both of you for coming on, and thanks to all of my viewers. Como siempre, muchas gracias por ver mi contenido a todos en todos países, porque Amelia es aquí.
Merci
Probablemente
beaucoup.
todavía, sí. Pero ahora, yeah, like always, to everybody watching, I wish nothing but health and happiness to you and everybody that you love. And I'm gonna say, thanks to all the viewers again. Thanks to you guys for being here. Yeah, this has been a good topic. Hell yeah! Until next time, everybody.